All right, everyone, strap in. We're about to take a deep dive
Yeah.
into building wealth and not the flashy win the lottery kind.
Right.
We're talking about building something that lasts.
Yeah. Sustainable wealth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And luckily, we've got this source that's basically a roadmap. It
Yeah.
lays out the steps to make it happen.
Yeah. And it's interesting because it starts off, by getting really real. It's like, what does rich even mean to you?
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah.
It's not just about a number, right?
Yeah. It's not just about like having $1 million, right? Like, what do you actually want?
It's about your values, like what you actually want your life to look like.
Exactly. And I think so many people miss that part. Like I used to know this woman, she had like the big house and the fancy car and, all the things, but she was miserable because she was chasing this idea of wealth that wasn't actually what she wanted.
That makes me think of, early retirement or being able to travel the world or finally
Yeah.
starting that business you've always dreamed of.
Yeah.
Those are the things that actually matter.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are your goals?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so once we've figured out our own definition of rich,
Yeah.
what's next?
Well, the source says we need to get smart about our money, right?
Right.
Like understanding things like budgeting and saving and investing. Like these are the tools,
Right. Okay, so let's break those down.
Yeah. So the source, it digs into this thing called compound interest.
Okay.
And it's basically this idea that your money makes more money.
Okay.
Right. So even if you're just investing a small amount every week, over time, it grows exponentially.
Okay, so give me an example because sometimes I need a tangible.
Yeah, for sure. So imagine you're investing $50 a week.
Okay.
With the right returns, in 20 years, you could have over $200,000.
Whoa.
That's the power of compound interest.
Okay, so it's not about getting rich quick. It's about the long game.
Yeah, exactly. It's about consistency.
Right. And speaking of which, the source mentions that we shouldn't just be relying on our 9-to-5 jobs, right?
Exactly. It's about creating multiple streams of income.
Multiple streams.
Yeah, like side hustles, freelance work,
Okay.
diversifying your income streams.
It seems like everyone's got a side hustle these days.
Right. And it makes sense because it gives you more security and more options.
Totally. It's like not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's cool. The source actually connects that to the importance of networking and mentorship.
Okay.
Like building strong connections can open doors to new opportunities, including potential income streams.
Right. Okay. So it's not just about what you know, it's who you know too.
Yeah. And I know this guy who he turned his passion for baking into this whole thriving side business,
Oh, wow.
just through connections he made at a local farmer's market.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so networking, multiple income streams, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be real, it's not always easy, right?
Oh, for sure.
Building wealth,
Yeah.
it takes time and it takes work, and there are going to be ups and downs.
Right. And
The market might crash or you might have a surprise expense pop up.
yeah, life happens.
Yeah, exactly. So how do we stay on track even when things get tough?
Well, the source stresses the importance of discipline
Okay.
and adaptability.
Okay.
So you need to be committed to your goals, but also be willing to adjust your plan when needed.
That makes sense. So
Yeah.
it's you have your plan, you have your goals, but you also have to be flexible because life throws curveballs.
Yeah, exactly. And, it's like we talked about earlier, it's about having that long-term vision.
Right.
So when those challenges pop up, you don't get discouraged, you just adapt and keep moving forward.
Right. So it's all about perspective, too.
Totally.
Keeping your eye on the prize.
Yeah.
And speaking of living a rich and fulfilling life, the source ends on a really interesting note, giving back.
Yeah. We often think, oh, I'll donate to charity when I have more money,
Right.
But the source kind of challenges that. It says incorporating generosity into your journey, no matter where you are financially, can actually make for a more meaningful life.
Oh, interesting. It's it's not just about the amount you give, it's about the act of giving itself.
Yeah, exactly. It's about being open and generous with your time, your resources, whatever you can.
So it sounds like building wealth is about more than just money.
Right.
It's about figuring out what's important to you. It's about making smart choices, staying adaptable, and finding ways to give back.
Absolutely. And, it all starts with taking that first step, right?
Yeah. So I think a good question for our listeners to ponder is, what's one small action you can take today like right now, to start aligning your finances with your definition of rich?
That's a great question.
I love that. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into building lasting wealth. Until next time.
See you next time.